circuses have captivated audiences all around the world for centuries, but the hype surrounding these spectacles is only disguising a cruel, inhumane show. Of course, the circus performers travel in comfortable automobiles and sleep in warm beds. However, the animals they star in their acts stay in cramped, jostling cages overflowing with mounds of their own feces. Even when they perform, these animals suffer constant stress and abuse. Stretching as far back as the early 18th century, elephants have marched around for human entertainment only at the expense of their own mental and physical well-being. The use of animals as entertainment in the circus should be forbidden. The circus we know today has been in the works for quite some time. The minimal accounts of circus elephants in colonial America are based solely on smidge bits of news articles and ads found in ancient newspapers. Before elephants, settlers in the New World would capture wild animals, display them, and collect money from those who wished to gander at these creatures. As competition continued to increase, no longer were these shows based on one or two animals, but a very large variety. By the early 19th century, full-fledged menageries were quite the trend. The first elephant arrived on American soil in April of 1796. Crown and Shield had purchased the 2-year-old elephant, which he had bought in India, for the mere price of $450. In America, captivation was instantaneous, and outrageous bids were placed on the animal, some reaching extremes of $10,000. Natural curiosity spread contagiously as Crown and Shield's elephant was paraded from Philadelphia to Charleston to New York, bringing with it a crowd. The elephant, Old Bet, who was the first elephant in America, died tragically after a young man shot at her as she was entering Maine in July of 1822. This was the beginning of what would be a horrific series of centuries for entertainment elephants in America. To begin, the fundamental basis for which these circuses were formed was barbaric. Elephants are biologically made to live in relatively high temperatures ranging from high 60s to mid 80s, standards that will never be acquired traveling constantly in the circus. In their natural environments, wild elephants spend their days walking up to nearly 40 miles, not chained to a railroad car for 23 hours per day. Perhaps the largest abomination present in circuses today is the tendency for the showmen to forcefully strip the young elephants, who typically stay by their mother's side till nearly the age of 16, roughly a month after their birth. This abuse of circus elephants, a shocking truth hidden from the eye of the public, is prominently stated in the classic American literature. People are susceptible to falling into the trap of believing all entertainment is pure fiction. In Kipling's novel, The Jungle Book, as Mowgli stumbles upon an Ankus, Bagheera explains to him that it was made to stab into elephants, and that it has tasted the blood of many. The horrific truths of elephant entertainment are given a visual representation in Disney's classic Dumbo. However these releases were shocking to some, many people will not give these subtle hints a second thought. These monstrous tools are popular among animal trainers, so much so that many handlers carry them up their sleeves. These tools are directly in front of the public, yet seemingly invisible. Though there are multiple laws in existence that are created for the sole purpose of protecting animals within public exhibits, they are rarely enforced. The largest and perhaps the broadest of the three is the Animal Welfare Act. This bill was originally passed in 1996 and has been amended 6 times, most recently in 2007. The Animal Welfare Act, although made with good intentions, is known for being extremely vague and highly ineffective when attempting to try a case. Generally, in most situations, the AWA stands alone in that it is the only piece of federal legislation that covers circus regulations. Due to its ineffectiveness and the dominant powerhouse of circuses it concerns, the act is virtually useless. Only minor violations, such as finding expired medicines or a tiny hole in an enclosure, are tried by this act. Another law in place to protect specifically rare species of animals is the Endangered Species Act. This bill is most effective in court against the abuse of endangered animals such as big cats and elephants. Though these bills are in existence, they are of minimal help in protection or impediment of circus elephants. In March of this year, Ringling Brothers Corporation has finally announced the upcoming retirement of their circus elephants. Most animal rights organizations are now satisfied with the downfall of these corrupt businesses. The time was appropriate as more and more Americans learned of the true treatment of these majestic animals, and the dissatisfaction was beginning to boil. Today, there is no excuse. We know that elephants, especially, are intelligent beings capable of expressing humor, sympathy, and grief, and they most definitely are able to feel the effects of a bull-hooked wallop. The bottom line is the circus will survive without elephants. The retiring of the elephants from Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey circuses will hopefully bring forth a new respect for these majestic creatures, a respect more profound than any source of entertainment.